Welcome back. 578 days strikes. Angry lecturers dumping varsities. Asuu lament. Onto this, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has raised the alarm over the exodus of lecturers from the nation's universities for greener pastures abroad. The union attributed the development to the federal government's poor treatment of its members, which is said had forced many to venture into other sources of livelihood. Speaking to the Punch on Sunday, the national president, Asuu Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, lamented that many lecturers had taken to farming and other economic activities, while a large number had left the country. Meanwhile, Osodeke spoke in reaction to the government's refusal to meet some of their demands, including the payment of 7 months' backlog of salaries accrued during the strike. Based on what we have gathered, report had it that the union had embarked on 4 strikes, totaling about 578 days under the Muhammad Buhari regime. The current strike by Asuu started on February 14, 2022, and entered its day 188 on Monday, being today. In 2017, the union went on strike for 30 days. In 2018, the lecturers shunned work for 90 days, while in 2020, the public universities were shut down for 270 days. Alright, Asuu accused the president and the government of the failing to release the Revitalization Fund for universities, failure to deploy the University Transparency Accountability System for the payment of salaries and allowances of the university lecturers. Asuu, meanwhile, had also lamented and demanded the release of earned allowances for its members, releases of the white paper report of visitation panel to universities, and the recognition of the 2019 FGN 2019 agreement. Speaking on the mass exile of lecturers from the university system, Osodeke stated so many lecturers are leaving to engage in farming and others. Lecturers are tired of the treatment they are receiving from the government, and because of this, they are looking for alternatives. So many more will leave even after the strike too. He continued to say that he pitied the country. Nigeria will be the loser for it. Instead of coming to the table, look at how they will solve the issue. Rather, they believe in pushing lecturers. It is so sad. Your lecturers went on strike. You believe that they will become hungry and come back to beg. Many lecturers will also leave to venture into other areas. Some are also looking at becoming self-employed. Based on this, the Asuu chairman, University of Lagos branch, Dr. Dele Asheru, relieved that more than 70% of brightest brain in academia had left the country, adding that the government had been so disrespectful and insensitive to the scholars. The impact of government insensitivity and deployment of the weapon of hunger might be immediately known until after the strike. As I speak with you, more than 70% of bright and promising young academics retained by the university through mentorship have also left the country for greener pasture due to the poor conditions of service in Nigeria. Unto this, those that are left are on the verge of leaving. No government in the history of Nigeria has been so insensitive branch and disrespectful of the best brain of the country. This is unfortunate and a shame, the Don lamented. My very good people, Ashiru, in an interview with Arise TV also mentioned by one of our correspondents on Sunday, saying that the union was not going to call off its strike action as done by the other academic unions. He further said that ASU is a union of intellectuals. We don't like or look at what others do to make our decisions. We make our decisions based on variable fact, and the facts available to us have not shown its government to be a responsible and sensible one. Options for lecturers. Corroborating his colleague, the chairman of ASU University of Uyo chapter, Dr. Happiness Uduk, confirmed to one of our correspondents that some lecturers had left the system. He said, meanwhile, that she would not specify how many of them had already left UNIO. She started saying, I quote, I cannot tell you how many there are because I am not sure about it, but I don't think what is happening is also university is different from ours. It is true that people are greedy and getting opportunities and leaving the system. We have heard about people who have left already. Meanwhile, it was also learned that some lecturers at the Abafemi Awolowo University Ife, the Federal University of Agriculture Abeokuta, and the Olabisi Onabonjo University Ago Iwoye, Ogun State has similarly resigned and relocated abroad. The chairman of the ASU chapter of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Dr. Adiola Abedulukun, said the number of his members that had left since the strike commenced was known yet. Abedulukun, however, described that he would engage those who described or who desire to leave to do so because of the federal government's poor handling of education. He added, saying that it is impossible for us to know until school reopens. That is when we know how and know, because no one will give us notice that he or she is leaving. It is the university that would not or that would notify, not the union. But I will encourage as many people as possible that want to move on. That is the reality. Nigeria has been plugged into the mud. I have never seen this kind of collisions and callousness in my life, Ebodun concluded. Meanwhile, on today's one of our correspondents in Abeokuta gathered that 2 lecturers had officially resigned from the OU, while several had left for now and relocated abroad. On today's, the chairman, ASU Funab, Dr. Agbenga Adeleye, said he did not know the number of lecturers who had resigned or relocated. But the union leader in the FUNAB, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said many lecturers had left the university and relocated abroad. The source further said a particular colleague or college in the university had almost become empty as a result of the development. Meanwhile, he said, I know that some of our colleagues have left. Some of them will say they want to go and meet their families for holiday, but we know that they will not come back. I am affirmed and confirmed to you that most people leaving after or often take permission that they want to go for holiday. Meanwhile, they will not return. It is not official because some of them go under the guise that they are coming back. My wonderful people, confirming the situation at hand, the ASU chairman at OOU, Joe Okewele, I beg your pardon, disclosed that 2 lecturers has resigned from the institution. I know about 2 or 3 of our colleagues that have relocated from my very own here. I don't know of any other person. He further said that he knows of one who is having a little challenge in giving due notice. in his resignation. But I don't know. He further said on his update, we are having a congress tomorrow, being today. If there are other people, I will have an idea. The chairman Asuu at the Federal University of Technology Akure, Professor Iluyonka Awopetu, when contacted, said there, of course, are lecturers that are traveling out of the country in pursuance of further qualifications. It is extremely impossible to authentically say they abandoned the profession. Others sought way of coping in their difficult and trying time as well. One may not be able to say if they are coming back or not. If you were in their shoes and you find a better opportunity, what will you do? Please. On today's his part, the Asuu leader at the University of Nigeria, Christian Opata, said some lecturers were pursuing other means of livelihood. He said, I am not aware of any for now. What I am saying authoritatively is that many will use today's strike to find new means of making money by establishing new lines of business. I know of two people who are loaning money to members without interest. They made millions of naira through tomatoes, yellow pepper, and maize farming. Meanwhile, the leaders of Nigerian students under the age of the Council of Student Union President have vowed to sue the federal government over the prolonged strike by Asuu members. The SUG president of the University of Jos, Joshua Adekela disclosed this in an interview with The Punch in Jos as on Sunday. Adeleke said, we are planning to take them, federal government and the ministers of education, level 1 employment and others, to court. The court action has become imperative because we can't take the continuous strike anymore. The CSUPs, which comprise the student union government in over 100 universities in Nigeria, in the first week of August, stormed Abuja, where they lamented the continuous loss of students to incident killing from bandit attacks as a result of their prolonged stay at home caused by the strike. The president, the National Association of Nigerian Students, on Sunday, and the Sunday Asafon, said the association was still holding talks with its legal team, after which it would decide the next line of action. On this, the education minister last Thursday asked students affected by the Asuu strike to sue the union for liabilities suffered as a result of the industrial action. My very own people, but this has been onto this one, my wonderful people. Meanwhile, alright, that has been onto this, but then giving an update on Nan's decision today. Government to court on Sunday. Asafon said they were still consulting their legal team. The student union president of the University of Ibadan, Adewale Adeyenka, spoke on the plan to sue the government. In conclusion, my very own people, in this, they said that by this week, they are going to meeting with some stakeholders in Abuja this week, but we want to disclose their identities now. The student leader said, my very own people, speaking on the options open to students and the parents, Professor Sam Orogo San advised them to hold the government accountable. For parents who could afford it, he said they could enroll their ward in private university, or they could travel abroad for studies. Also, a professor of law in the Faculty of Law, University of Calabar, Professor Israel Woronjo, said that the government should know that students had a right to education, accusing that such right could not be released. With the attitude of the government, which he said was a way to deny the citizens the right to education. But a professor at the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, Hakeem Alayekiyan, said that Asuu was not achieving such or much in the strike. Olaniye said, take a census of the children we are teaching. They are not children of the poor. They can afford a pay free. If the government pays, if the government said that this is all we can afford, we need to look forward in terms of tuition to augment whatever little government can pay. My very own people, that has been the talk of the day, as a lot of reaction has this have brought. Based on that, report has it that as at 2021, controversial surrounded the sharing of the 22.1 billion naira released by the federal government and other university-based union and so many other things that this have gotten. Reacting to the development, the ASU national president Osodeke said, we don't care whomever they pay it to. We have better issues to discuss here. We have gone beyond that. Whatever they want, they should do. We are on strike and we are ahead. We don't have issues with any union. It is the government we have issues with. And negotiating with Mr. EA is calculated and we don't negotiate with others. That has been onto this one, my very people. Well, let me have your take on this, as 578 days has gone for strike and angry lecturers dumping varsities. Asuu lament on this. Well, let me have your take onto this matter. Remember to send in your take and remember to tap on the subscription button for more updates. Thanks and God bless.